Question is to the Senator now adjourned. Senator Brown, Carol Brown.
Thank you, Mr President. I rise tonight to draw the Chamber's attention to the leading role in which Tasmania is playing in the rollout of the National Broadband Network and progressing the digital revolution in Australia. Back in April, the Prime Minister, the Minister for Broadband and Communications, Senator Conroy, and the Tasmanian Premier, David Bartlett, announced that Tasmania would be the launch state for the national broadband rollout. On the 25th of July, the Prime Minister joined the Premier, along with the Federal Minister and local federal and state MPs, on Hobart's eastern shore to officially lay the first cable. Making the announcement at the official launch with Senator Conroy, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "This is a good day. It's about what we're going to do for Australia. It is about what we're going to do for Tasmania and what we are going to do together." It was indeed a good day. The following day, the Premier David Bartlett used the Tasmanian Labor State Conference to outline his vision to make Tasmania the most connected place on the planet by 2014. The Premier is not alone in his vision, and the rollout of the National Broadband Network in Tasmania's rural and regional towns is the very first step towards making the vision a practical reality. Indeed, for Tasmanians, the revolution has already commenced. Within the next year, around 5,000 households in Smithton, in Mr Sidebottom's electorate of Braddon, Scottsdale in Ms Campbell's electorate of Bass, and Midway Point in Mr Adams' electorate of Lyons will be granted access to the superfast broadband network. And this is only the beginning. In the space of a few short years, over 200,000 Tasmanian households and businesses, each of the state's hospitals and almost 90% of schools will be connected to the network, which will deliver broadband 50 times faster than currently available at speeds of 100 megabits per second. In the not-so-distant future, the state's rural towns and network of thriving regional communities will have at their fingertips technology that will revolutionise the way they interact with each other as well as the rest of the world. For the first time, the nation's island state will be granted the opportunity to overcome its revered isolation and that has at some times been viewed as a barrier. The rollout of the National Broadband Network will remove this barrier and in a few short years open the nation's smallest state to possibilities it never thought imaginable. Over the past 5 years, Tasmania has attracted an increasing number of tourists from interstate and overseas, ironically keen to experience those delights that stems from its very isolation. Its rugged and remote wonders, its world-renowned top-quality fresh produce and its constantly evolving and unique eye for detail when it comes to creative design and innovation. Indeed, as such, Tasmania has attracted renewed interest in terms of investment, which has remained despite the recent economic downturn. However, the lack of infrastructure such as high-speed broadband that is essential for business portability has undoubtedly, in some cases, created reluctance to invest. Likewise, in recent times, there has been an explosion of small business activity by Tasmanian companies eager to build on the state's increased niche market credibility. However, thanks to the complete failure by the previous government to invest in essential broadband infrastructure, Tasmanian-based businesses have been forced to endure the natural barriers that arise as a result of its isolation. Granting such businesses access to high-speed broadband will revolutionise the Tasmanian economy by opening the state up to the rest of the world. With continued investment, it will drive innovation and productivity in our economy. As a part of his state conference address, the Premier also outlined his vision for Tasmania to become the intellectual hub for renewable energy in the Asian Pacific region, a prospect that is now possible with a national broadband rollout. Along with the increased investment naturally comes the opportunity to support and create local jobs. The Premier has said that the initial rollout of the National Broadband Network will support hundreds of Tasmanian jobs over the next couple of years. What's more, the rollout process has and will continue to engage Tasmanian-based companies, ensuring return investment in the state. Beyond the initial rollout, the network will lay the foundations for the creation of potentially thousands of new jobs in new as well as existing industries such as IT, energy generation, agriculture and, of course, tourism. By eliminating the previous limitations of distance, the rollout has the potential to open Tasmania up to the rest of the world, as well as opening the world up to Tasmanians. Small Tasmanian businesses and home-based entrepreneurs will have access to unlimited customer base, whilst interstate and overseas tourists will have the means of purchasing those gems that they pick up on their travels around the state. Local producers will be granted the means to better network and share ideas without the restrictions of time or space. Apart from the obvious benefits in terms of increasing productivity, innovation and supporting local jobs, the rollout of broadband in Tasmania will also have significant benefits in terms of the delivery of essential health and social services. As many of you may well be aware, Tasmania, as with many other rural and remote areas, has traditionally experienced a number of challenges in terms of the delivery of essential services. For people living in rural and remote communities, accessing health, education and even care-based services can be difficult. The rollout of broadband in Tasmania has the potential to eliminate many of these challenges. The possibilities in terms of e-health are very exciting. With parallel advances in medical technology, we're already seeing the benefits of the fast and effective delivery of remote health services. Many Tasmanian patients are enjoying the benefits of being able to consult their medical practitioner via teleconference rather than a 3 to 4 hour road trip. However, the broadband rollout to households around the state promises to revolutionise the way we deliver health services in the state. In a few short years, there will exist the potential to monitor and manage the health and well-being of patients in their own homes. Elsewhere, technology has been developed and used that enable a patient at risk of having a heart attack to wear a device that monitors their condition and an ambulance to be automatically dialed at the first signs that they may be experiencing cardiac arrest. In a state that experiences high rates of heart and kidney disease, such advances offer a great benefit. Importantly, the use of such technologies also offers great hope to a state with a rapidly ageing population who at present is struggling to develop a cost-effective model for the provision of aged care. By allowing for the opportunity for remote monitoring, the broadband rollout may assist many older Tasmanians stay safely in their own homes for longer. Complementing the rollout of the broadband network in Tasmania, the Premier, who is also the Tasmanian Minister for Education, has set an ambitious target to significantly improve the literacy and numeracy levels in Tasmanian schools. With Tasmanian students set to have access both at home and at school to the network, there exists the real potential to improve literacy and numeracy in schools across the state. The needs of particular students may be better catered for by facilitating the sharing and networking of specific learning materials. There also exists the potential for parents to be better engaged at home in helping children with their learning programs. As in all, the rollout of the national broadband network in Tasmania, which commenced in July this year, heralds a new era for our state. Its potential to revolutionise our small state cannot be overstated. It promises to support local business, attract investment, create new jobs, improve access to health service and transport the way we care for both our old and our young. Coinciding with the announcement in July, the Premier set a clear target to make Tasmania the most connected place on the planet in 5 short years. With the whole nation, and indeed the world, watching, this is an exciting time for our state, who at previous point in history has been forced to lag behind. The rollout of the broadband network promises to see Tasmania take the lead. Through a shared vision, the federal and state Labor governments have set our state a clear path, one full of promise. After 11 long years of inaction by the previous government in this area, the rollout of the broadband network in Tasmania will come as a welcome relief for thousands of Tasmanian businesses and families who for far too long have been forced to put up with subordinate infrastructure which many may have simply not been able to access services at all. However, despite all the overwhelming benefits this advancement will bring to Tasmania, Liberal Senator Guy Barnett continues to criticise the Tasmanian broadband rollout at any chance that he seems to get. After initially welcoming the news that Tasmania would be the first state to access the network on the 30th of April this year, Senator Barnett has repeatedly attempted to publicly criticise and undermine the benefits of the rollout. Now, Now, when we have the state and Labor governments working together to see Tasmania become the leader in the rollout of this essential 21st century infrastructure, he has suddenly found a voice. While the federal and state governments are focusing on the practical realities of delivering the network to Tasmanian towns and cities, Senator Barnett is hell-bent on undermining the broadband
Carol
rollout.
Brown, your time has expired.